In this video, we're going to talk about Tibbles. We've previously talked about data frames as a way to store tables of data in R. A tibble is a modern update to the data frame. It's part of the Tidyverse collection of packages. And just like a data frame, it's based on a table of data with columns like a spreadsheet. Just like a data frame again, each column is a vector, right? So each column can only hold one type of data, just numbers or just character vectors, for example. And all columns have to have the same length, just as in a data frame. And the reason the Tidyverse package created the Tibble is because the underlying data frame, which has been part of the R programming language for a very long time, has some counterintuitive behaviors and a couple of uncommon situations where it doesn't behave in exactly the way you would think it ought to behave. And so the Tibble fixes those problems. In general, wherever we might use a data frame, we can also use a Tibble. The way we create a Tibble is with a function called Tibble. So we have an example here where we're creating a Tibble in this section of code on lines 4 to 8, and we're assigning it to a new variable called student data. And on the last line, we print out the Tibble stored in the student data variable, and you can see it below the code chunk here. So how are we creating it? Well, we provide a series of vectors, each one of which is going to become a column of the Tibble. So the first argument is index, which is this vector here of 4 numbers, the numbers 1 through 4, and we just provide that variable here as the first argument. And in the output Tibble, we can see that the 4 numbers have become the values of this column, and the name of this column is just the same as the name of the variable that we passed as the argument. So that's one way we can add a vector as a column to the Tibble function. We can also, as in this second column here on line 6, we can create the vector within the argument, like we're doing with this the C function here to create a vector of 4 names. And we can say name equals that vector to specify what we want the column name to be. Right? So this second column is those 4 names, and the name is the value that was on the left-hand side of the equals sign. This third column, we're sort of mixing the two approaches. So ages was a pre-existing vector created up here, right, for 4 numbers that are the ages of these people. But we specify the name here on the left-hand side of the equal sign, so that the column that we get in the Tibble is called age instead of ages. So that these are 3 ways that you can add a column to a Tibble using the Tibble function. Any of them work. It just depends on whether the data is a pre-existing vector, whether you want to specify what the name is, and so forth. But you can mix and match these different approaches. Once we have a Tibble, like we had the student data Tibble, which we created on the previous slide, we can access a column using the dollar operator, like you see here. So we get a name column, and the result will be a vector of the 4 values from that column. We can also use the select function that we've previously learned about. So here we're piping the student data Tibble to the select function. Then we're specifying with this second argument that we want to get the age column back. But now when we use the select function, we actually get a Tibble as our output. So in this case, it's a Tibble of just 1 column, but it is still a Tibble and not actually a vector.